behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Bash TV. Palm Bash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a great interview coming up shortly. But before we begin, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and bell, and you'll always be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And leave a comment on the comment section if you like what you see. We'd love to hear from you. And check out the description part, because we're going to have contact info there, and it will be repeated at the closing credits at the end of the show as well. So we hope you'll stay tuned for that. From Gig Harbor, Washington today, we have Captain Rick's Retro Rockit. Very awesome band, and I think you're really going to love them. So we'll get to that in a second, but here's another quick word from the Caden Gordon Show, so don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
It is Caden from the Caden Gordon Show. Today's best country mix. Check out my show at thecadengordonshow.com.
Okay, we're back, and with us today from Gig Harbor, Washington, we have Rick Bleiweiss from Captain Rick's Retro Rock. It's a very awesome video, which you'll see in a few minutes here. But thanks anyway for coming on the show. How did it all begin for you as far as being an artist? I mean, have you always wanted to be an artist since you were a kid? Did you fall into it much later? I mean, I'm sure you have your own story. Go ahead and tell everybody about that.
Well, actually, I did start as an artist as a kid. I started taking classical guitar lessons when I was 7 years old. And then when rock and roll hit, which will kind of type my age, if you will, but I immediately switched from classical guitar to rock and roll guitar, and I started playing gigs in rock bands in probably when I was 12, so that would have been in 56. And I played on the road I stopped playing in the mid-70s. And I played in bands, opened for some big acts, and had a lot of fun. And then I became a record producer, and then I became a record executive. And it's just sort of things morphed from one to the other. And then I decided I still liked recording and writing. And so I set up a home studio recently, and I started recording stuff that I had written, wrote some new stuff. And this record, One Night Man by Captain Rick's Retro Rockit, was the most recent thing that I've done.
Okay. Well, that's quite a story there. And it looks like you just started from one thing and went to another and kept building up. So that's great that you did that. Yeah. Well, tell me about your influences. I mean, since you were a child back in the 50s and something, you probably had a lot of 50s influences. But anyway, let us know some of your influences. We'd like to hear that.
Well, certainly it started with probably Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and, many others. I was really into R&B, and my parents introduced me early on to people like Odetta and the Weavers and acts like that. And then, in the early rock days, it was just everybody early rock. But probably my biggest influences that affect what I do now were the Beatles and Buffalo Springfield and Deep Purple and some other rock acts of the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I just got a fan email yesterday saying that they thought I sounded like Van Halen. That's okay. I can live with that.
Well, those are some good influences, as you mentioned, like the stuff from the 50s, like Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, even the Big Bopper was pretty good. And I could see a lot of that in your sound there. Yeah. Well, people might want to stream your music or go to your official website, and watch videos, whatever. Tell everybody how they can do that.
Well, the website for my music is Retro Rockit, and that's RetroRockit. So retrorockit.music. And I've got a lot of my stuff up on there, including a sci-fi rock opera that I've been involved with. And the One Night Man single, which is the first single from the group, that's kind of available everywhere. YouTube, Apple Music, iHeart, you name it, Spotify, it's all over the place. And it's doing really well. I'm kind of pleased and surprised.
Okay, well, I'll go to those places he mentioned, his website, and also the streaming platforms and YouTube, so forth. And I know he would really love you for that. And we're getting ready to watch this video. I do believe it's called uh, what is it, One Night Man?
Yep, One Night Man. Yeah, it's basically a lyrics video. It's pretty much a static issue with the lyrics running over it.
Well, what's the story behind this song? It sounds like it would be a great story. Maybe it's self-explanatory too, but
well, to some degree it is. But it's based on when I was in a band. One of our band members, the organist in the band. It was back when it was guitar, bass, drums, and organ, and a lead singer. The organist was a real ladies' man, and this particular song, which is a story song, really recounts an adventure that my bandmate had. And years later now, I come back and resuscitated that experience for him.
Well, it's a great song, and I love it. I know you guys out there are going to love it too, and we're going to get to that in a second. But Rick, thank you so much for being on the show today. We'd love to have you back again sometime if you're willing to come back and plug something new for us.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. I look forward to it.
Okay. Well, anyway, here it is, the lyric video by Rick, and it begins right now.
I was spending some time last night at 9:30 at a club down on 2nd Street. When the shortest skirt with the longest legs came right on up to me. She said, "Hi, mind if I sit down? I've been admiring your big brown eyes." Well, I must have been staring, 'cause what she was wearing had nothing left to hide. You know I stared all night long, all night long, all night long. All night she was alright, all night long. We didn't just stare at each other all night, no. You see, she said, "Why don't we get out of here? Why don't we go back to my place?" And next thing I know, there we were standing at her door, and then we were sitting on her living room floor. And she said, "Excuse me, hon, I want to change into something for the night." And as she reached the bedroom door, she called my name and turned out all the lights. You know I stayed all night long, all night long, all night long. All night she was alright, all night long. Now that's not the end of the story. Not by a long shot. We made love right through the morning till she jumped up without any warning and said, "You best get out of here. See, my boyfriend's coming soon, and if he finds you in this room, he's gonna bust your head from ear to ear." Well, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and I only wanted to delight her, so I got my stuff and out the door ran. That night I was back to clubbing, looking for another someone who only wanted a one-night stand.